Where does the moon go during the day? Have you ever noticed that the moon seems to disappear during the day? One night you look up and there it is shining brightly in the dark sky like a giant glowing orb. But when you wake up the next morning and look outside, it's nowhere to be seen. Where did it go? Did it take a day trip on the beach on Jupiter? Did it flip into a secret dimension? Maybe it's just hiding on the other side of the earth, or perhaps it just switched itself off like a desk lamp. When you start thinking about what the moon gets up during the day, you might be surprised by what other questions pop up. Does it go somewhere else? Does it take the stars with it? Why it is a slightly different shape every night? Let's investigate the cosmic mystery and find out what's really happened to our faithful nighttime companion during the hours of daylight. There are countless stories and songs about magical moonlight evenings, but almost none of the moon by day. When we think of the moon, we picture it against a dark night sky. It's natural to think it only comes out at night. The moon is a huge rock floating in space around 384,000 kilometers away from Earth. It's being locked in orbit around us for nearly 4.5 billion years. It's sometimes a little nearer of the orbit, and it wobbles slightly because of the gravity of the sun and nearby planets. It's also gradually slipping away from Earth, but this is all happening very slowly, very smoothly, and very steadily. It does not just nip away from a doze in a daytime and pop back the next evening. So, if the moon is always out there, constantly looping around the Earth, why does it seem to vanish where the sun comes up? This question is a good reminder that our eyes can play little tricks on us. What we see is not always what's really happening. That's exactly why science is so interesting. Maybe the moon is like a vampire and cannot handle sunlight. It might have to hide somewhere dark during the day, taking a chance to recharge itself before glowing again at night. Making up fun theories about what happens to the moon in the day is a good way to warm up our brains. By investigating these wild ideas, we can start ruling some things out and get closer to what was really happening. As long ago as the 1500s, there were stories about the moon being made of cheese. Maybe during the day it pops into a giant refrigerator or perhaps the moon is actually made of a special material that becomes invisible in daylight. A bit like those toys that change color when you warm them up. When the sun shines, the moon might turn completely transparent, so we cannot see it anymore. Of course, these explanations are pretty unlikely. We know that the moon cannot just take the day off because it's always night somewhere on Earth. But when we look up the bright blue sky, it really does seem like the moon disappears. So what's really going on? To solve our mystery, we need to think like detectives and gather evidence. Scientists have several ways to investigate what's really happening to the moon during the daytime. The first technique is careful observation. Even though most people don't think of looking for the moon during the day, some sharp-eyed observers have. They will discover that you actually can see it faintly during daylight hours quite often. Scientists also use sensitive telescopes and cameras to track the moon's position throughout the day and night. They have even placed special small mirrors on the moon's surface. By sending powerful pulses of laser light that bounce back to Earth, they can calculate exactly how far away is it any time. These instruments have detected the moon even in the daytime. Doctors and scientists have closely studied how our eyes work. These incredible organs enables us to see in a huge range of situations. However, the way they work is part of the reason we don't usually see the moon during the day. There are also space missions and satellites. These have given us unique views of Earth, Sun, and Moon all together in space, along with some great clues about what's really happening to the Moon during the day. The Moon does not produce its own light like the Sun does. Instead, the sunlight bounces off it. Imagine standing opposite a friend in the dark. You cannot see them because there is no sunlight. If someone behind you shone as flashlight at them, you did see them, although your own face would still be in darkness. That's a bit like what happens with the moon and sunlight. During the day, the sun fills our sky with bright light. The light bounces around tiny particles in the Earth's atmosphere, making the sky blue and dazzling. Our eyes adjust to the brightness, our pupils shrinks, and our eyes becomes less sensitive. This makes it hard to spot the much dimmer light reflected from the moon. The same thing happens with stars. They are still there in the day, but much dimmer than the sky. The moon's position in the sky also matters. Sometimes it's on the opposite side of the earth where we cannot see it. Other sometimes it's simply outshone by the sun. There is one more piece of the puzzle. The moon faces as the moon orbits the earth. The sun rays hit it at different angles. That's why it looks like a different shape every night. When we see the whole of the lit up side, we call it a full moon. Then less and less of it's lit up each night, making it look smaller and smaller. When the sun only lights up the far side of the moon, we cannot see it at night or during the day. We call this phase a new moon. So, where does the moon go during the day? The answer is that it carries an orbiting the earth exactly as it does at night. It does not hide, disappear, or travel to other dimension. What changes is our ability to see it. During the day, it's still there, faithfully bouncing sunlight to us, but it gets lost in the brightness of the blue daytime sky. Sometimes by day or night, we might not be able to see it because it is temporarily below the horizon. On the other side, the next time someone asks you where the moon goes during the day, you can tell them it's playing the ultimate game of hide and seek. It's not hiding somewhere else, it is hiding in plain sight, right there in the bright blue sky above our heads. Thank you.